I'm on here hosting this Datathon for you on behalf of UCLA DataRes in collaboration with IDS, which is the Introduction to Data Science curriculum. Also, the organization that hopefully you've taken classes with, although it isn't necessary that you are in an IDS class at the moment. So, not everybody can attend today's kickoff meeting, so we will also be recording this meeting and publishing it to our YouTube channel. In addition, uh, um, we might release additional videos to our YouTube channel with content to help you guys out, particularly if you run into any difficulties along the way of this data challenge, because it might be a little bit tricky. So, to start us off, I'm actually going to share my screen. I'm going to be going over some of the more specific details of today's challenge for this weekend. So this is our information document. I'm going to share that with all of you guys right now. I have the link. I'll be posting it in the chat. I'll also be keeping this Zoom room open from now all the way until 1 a.m. So basically, this Zoom room is going to be a way of having information public for everybody. And if you have questions, you can drop it into the Zoom chat. And then I or one of my colleagues will be able to respond, hopefully within the right time. So what I've just sent in the Zoom chat right now is the link to this Google Doc, which has everything you need to know for for this weekend's challenge. And I'll basically get right into it. So hi, everybody. Welcome, Data Wizards. Welcome to the UCLA DataRes IDS Datathon. Here's our challenge for today. We are going to be mapping the education system of the US. So hopefully discovering patterns in public schools, seeing things that you may not have been able to tell at a glance. We're working with a really unique data set that's provided by the National Center for Education Statistics. This is a government organization that provides federal data across the entire United States. And so this data set includes information on, I believe, every public school in the US. We have information like where they're located, the demographics of the students who attend these schools, and then we also have stuff like teacher counts, whether or not that school is eligible for specific government programs like Title I and other useful information. So that's kind of the idea of what data we're working with. We'll be breaking down what's in that data set soon. But first, let's talk about our goals. This is what we're trying to achieve in our project. What we'd like to work on specifically is visualizing our data. Some options could include creating interactive maps to visualize how the geographic distribution of all these interesting measurements. We can also look at differences between regions across the United States. And on top of that, you could just make your old plots that you've seen in your course. That could be scatter plots, bar plots, anything that your mind goes. So in addition, we might be interested in conducting a comparative study. Because we have information on all these schools, you can compare them based on things like student-teacher ratios, their grading systems, the demographic diversity, and more. Also, you might be interested in looking at specific geographic areas. Perhaps you'd like to look into California, as I'm aware that a majority of you might be from a California high school. Or you could look at different regions like the Midwest, East Coast, anywhere you'd like. And we're going to hopefully see if we can uncover some patterns based off of this geographic differences. And finally, another goal you could potentially look at is resource allocation. Resources like teachers and facilities are distributed differently across the nation, and a lot of it has to do with how the public school system derives its money, which is often based off of local counties. You might notice that things are distributed differently across across the US, and this might be something interesting to you. Also, we also have information on whether or not a school is located in, say, an urban area, like a city, or a rural area. Things like this might have a large impact on the resources dedicated to that school. And this is something that we can look at in order to perhaps highlight disparities in terms of uh, resources, something that has to do with equity and how we might perceive like how public schools should be in the United States. Now, these are the three main goals we'll be challenging you all to achieve. In particular, this data will have quite a few obstacles for you to solve. First, it might require some cleaning. There's some formatting problems, some missing values, and quite a lot you might have to deal with. In addition, we were gonna encourage the use of, good data visualizations, and you also have a lot of potential to plot this in a geographic way that might be very nice to see. Finally, you can also approach this project from more of an interdisciplinary approach. If you guys have any knowledge from the courses that you studied, such as geography, sociology, history, etc., if you'd like to bring in your outside knowledge apart from what you've learned in the IDS course, feel free to do so. It's very important that when we apply our data analysis skills, that we also consider things outside of that realm. Things like, oh, how has the history of like the United States impacted this geographic region? What might I expect given X, Y, and Z? A lot of these things are something that you'll only find when working with real data. And because we're working with something like education, something that has a real impact on people's lives, it's really important that we consider the long history of our country and also perhaps more specific things specific to our region. Because when we want to do a data analysis, we want to take into consideration all factors, not just the numbers. Now, we have a lot of goals, a lot of challenges, and here are some potential milestones you can look forward to making. Perhaps consider an interactive map, or you could perhaps do a small report or some sort of analysis integrating external data or literature to connect with the data at hand. In the end, these are just some things that you might make. And we're also going to talk about more specifically how we'll be evaluating the things that you guys make with the data. And I'll be talking about that a little bit later. Actually, I'm going to skip a little bit to the submission format. We're going to talk specifically about what we expect from y'all. First, a video presentation. We are expecting you guys to record a 5-minute maximum video on YouTube where you present the key findings and insights that you derive from the data set. You can start with the introduction of your team and the problem statement, the thing that you're trying to investigate. After that, we'd like to hear about the methodologies you used to conduct your data analysis and also your visualizations that you made. We want to hear all the things that you learned in your analysis and hopefully a conclusion and potentially some recommendations from what you've learned. Now, for this video, we'd like you to accompany it with a slide deck. Essentially, make something like a Google Slides, present it, and then record yourself presenting over it with your teammates. This could include charts, graphs, maps, etc., bullet points, whatever you'd like. And it's really important to remember that a lot of data analysis is also communication, right? At the end of the day, we all need to be able to make use of what we've analyzed, make use of our hard work, and it's really important to be able to communicate that in a clear and concise way. So, general guidelines. The videos and the slides should be submitted as digital files to the UCLA DataRes at UCLA email. And basically, your submission are going to be evaluated on the following criteria: accuracy and thoroughness of your analysis, the creativity and clarity in your visualizations, the depth of your insights, and the practical implications that we receive from your data and your analysis, and finally, your overall presentation skills and your ability to communicate your findings effectively. So, in regards to submitting this video along with these slides, you must send it to our email by midnight on, 12 p.m. Yes. wait, no, that's noon. Noon on March 3rd. That's going to be Sunday on, yeah, basically, yeah, noon on Sunday. All right. We will not be accepting any submissions after that time. Finally, we'll be giving y'all some recognition with some cool badges you can put on your resume. And yeah, that's basically the majority of what I have to cover. If you guys run into any obstacles, this Zoom room is going to be open for a really long time. And basically, if you ask any questions, we'll catch up and we'll help you with anything that you need. You can work on the competition outside of the Zoom room, although feel free to use it if you guys want to use Zoom. It's up to you. And this is all open book, open internet. Use whatever you'd like to support your analysis. Although make sure that whatever resources you use properly, and you're ready to defend how you use them, and also be able to explain why your analysis is correct. If you have a question outside of the Zoom hours, feel free to send an email to our Gmail. It's there, ucladares@ucla.edu, and we will respond as soon as possible. And finally, I'll show you some of the hours that we're going to be having this call open. From now all the way till 1 a.m., we will be awake. And on Saturday, also basically the whole day from noon to midnight, and from Sunday from 9 a.m. up until the deadline at 12 p.m. at noon. So, now I'll talk to you a little bit about the data set that we're working with. We will be posting some small videos to our YouTube channel to help you guys with the data cleaning process and potentially some of the visualizations. Just note, we've provided you a raw data file and a quote clean data file. It still has some problems. And in fact, you might want to work with the raw file depending on your needs. So there's a web page to get the raw data. This is a government website. If you follow it, it's taking some time to load. Here's the National Center for Education Statistics. You can download it here with the download button to get the raw data, this CSV right here. If you click on the download options, feel free to use this download file previously generated. That's the file we're going to be using, and it's also faster than generating new data. And on this website, it's very important to note that it provides some more context about the information. It also tells you about the missing values and the data points that are don't meet the data points that don't meet the data quality standards of the NCES. So make sure that the data that you're using for your analyses are valid. And finally, down here, we have a list of attributes. These are going to be the columns of our data set. It basically tells you the name of the column. Like in this case, this one's called NCESSCH. Like, who knows what that means, right? It means the unique school ID right here. So the name of the column might be something kind of hard to interpret, like serve year, but in the end, it means year corresponding to survey record. And the data that we're working with is data between 2020 to 2021. So if you have any, if you don't really know like what the data means, essentially, this will be very helpful. Finally, there's a bunch of columns here, but the clean data file which we provide actually doesn't contain all of these columns. We've gone ahead and basically cleaned it up a little bit by changing some of the names of the columns and also removing columns that you may not necessarily need depending on your analysis. So it's up to you whether or not you'd like to use the raw or the clean data set. We might actually be posting a video on how we created that clean data set. It's actually going to be something that I will upload later because I have some information that I would hopefully like you guys to figure out on your own. Now, something that's really helpful. Oh, sorry. If you want to download the raw or clean CSV data from Google Drive, this link contains the Drive folder. This is the clean data set that I just uploaded. Here's the raw data set. Remember, the clean data set is not completely clean. Watch out. It has a lot of missing values and invalid values as well. Finally, this last link is an interactive data exploration tool. This is really nice. Basically, if you go to this link and you press data, This is actually what the data set looks like. And the columns are actually in like kind of full text, so then you can easily see what it says. For example, just looking at this top row of the data set, okay, we're talking about a school located in Albertville County. Let's see if we can tell what state this is in. Alabama Avenue, Alabama. So this school is in Alabama. It doesn't seem to be a magnet school. And let's see, it's a middle school. As you could tell by this school level column, it says middle school here, Albertville Middle School. Okay, obviously it's a middle school. It seems to be eligible for Title I, which is something that you might want to look up because that's actually very important. And it has a student teacher ratio of 21.62. So that means that for every 21.62 students, we have one teacher. And it seems to have 908 total elementary slash secondary students. Some of those students are eligible for free and reduced price lunch. And it seems like that's about a third of the students because there are 908 total students. So this is basically how you might want to use this resource if you'd like to have a way of looking at your data from a glance. And it also comes with the potential to do some easy visualizations, I believe. Oh, all right. This might take a while to load on your computer, but what you see before you is the distribution of schools across the United States. Do you guys see anything interesting in here? Perhaps that this area over here around, let's see, this is Nevada area is, it seems to be there are much less schools here than perhaps in California or the East and Midwest in general. Um, Keep in mind that there are a lot of information you can get out of using maps. So we might be posting some videos on our YouTube channel to guide you guys in this aspect. Perhaps because, this graph, you can't really tell much. It's just telling you the location of schools, but there are better ways to be able to say, perhaps you could make a map where it's the US and in areas where there are schools that have a lot of, let's say you can make a map where it's colored based off of how many teachers there are in that state. Maybe we could see whether or not some states have a really, really high student teacher ratio. In general, we'd figure that we'd want there to be many teachers, right? This could be a way to do an analysis on that way, to plot it on a map, which is very useful to see at a glance. So with all these resources, with all this information, we hope that you're not overwhelmed. If you have any questions or any concerns, please feel free to reach out to us either by joining the Zoom room and dropping in the chat, or by sending us an email to our Gmail account right here at ucladatares@ucla.edu. This meeting has been recorded, so we will also be publishing this to our YouTube channel just in case I talked too quickly for you to hear. And we'd like to say thank you so much for participating. We are looking really forward to seeing what y'all find and what y'all conclude. And I guess that kicks us off for our Datathon today. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to stay in the Zoom room and ask. And yeah, I guess that concludes our kickoff meeting. So thank you for joining, and may the odds be ever in your favor.